The year was 1987. Aretha Franklin had just become the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, actress Karen Gillan had been born, and George Orwell was proved wrong for the third year running.
Where are you going with this?
No, I'm building up to something.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be doing a segment on Animal Man.
Yeah, I know, and I'm building up to something. In 1987, DC Comics were riding high on the success of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and Watchmen, and so they were looking for other British writers to juice up their catalogue.
Hence Grant Morrison, hence Animal Man.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but that wasn't his first appearance, though.
No, the year was 1965.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. Animal Man was created by Dave Wood and Carmine Infantino. His first appearance was in Strange Adventures, number 180, but he only appeared 5 times in his original incarnation, never gaining much popularity. Just one more blonde superhero with an animal gimmick.
But when Grant Morrison rebooted the character in 1987, one of the most important things, arguably, that he changed in the character was that he made him a father. And when you think about it, how many of the big super types are married with 2 kids?
That's true, but that's just what made him endearing, though. Buddy Baker was an everyman, a regular Joe trying to provide for his family.
Yeah, a regular Joe who can absorb the abilities of any nearby animal thanks to an alien spaceship exposing him to radiation.
Yeah, sure, but he started dressing up as a superhero mainly to raise money for the band he was in.
True.
I love Buddy Baker because he ends up in endless, ridiculous scenarios fighting aliens and combined mutant animals, but he reacts to them like a regular guy. And eventually he seemed to spend more time advocating for animal rights than he did punching bad guys in the face.
The scenarios did get increasingly bizarre in the Grant Morrison era, though, I've got to say. I mean, culminating in a complete fourth wall breakdown. But he takes peyote in the desert and goes on a vision quest, where he ends up looking directly at the reader. Later, he uses a time machine to travel into his own past, and later still, he actually meets Grant Morrison.
I'm not a huge fan of writers putting themselves into their own stories, but looking back at all the clues and the foreshadowing that Morrison sprinkled through the story, going all the way back to issue 5, the Coyote Gospel, I'm not quite sure how else his run could have ended.
After Animal Man was handed over to other writers, and then when it moved on into the Vertigo imprint, it took on more of a horror comic feel, particularly when Jamie Delano was writing for it. I mean, Buddy Baker died several times during that period, and that was when he was first connected with the Red.
Yes. Now, Swamp Thing readers will be familiar with the Green, a force that connects all plants and foliage on the planet. Now, the Red is the same thing, but for animals, and it's become more of a focus in his recent reboot in the New 52.
Yes, and this is where I've gotten right back into Animal Man again. Jeff Lemire and Travell Foreman seized on the idea of Animal Man as a horror comic and brought us The Black, also known as The Rot, a third force to counter the Red and the Green, connecting all death and decay on the planet.
Lemire's version of Animal Man has again slipped out of mainstream superhero work at the start of the reboot, even acting in an indie movie called Tights. But when his daughter Maxine begins to manifest powers of her own, a trio of horrific monsters called the Hunters 3 show up, and everything goes straight to hell.
Paving the way for the Rot World crossover, which featured Scott Snyder's New 52 Swamp Thing, as well as Lemire's Frankenstein Agent of Shade.
And yet, despite the success of Animal Man, Lemire's decided to end Buddy's solo adventuring with issue number 29, having found a natural end to the story that he wanted to tell with the Baker family.
Yeah, luckily though, Animal Man will continue to don the tights as a member of the newly formed Justice League of Canada, also penned by Lemire.
Yeah, so that's just a brief look at a very unique and versatile character from the DC universe. I mean, he's been a political activist, an actor, a hero, and I'm pretty sure the only hero in the New 52 that was married.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we should probably do a Kings of the Round Table thing, go full talk show on that. Superheroes and why they can't hold down a relationship.